be it, huh?
See you tonight. Thank you.
I'll be back.
Welcome, you guys. What's going on? This is your man Leo Brown in the house once again, hanging with Barrels and Leafs. And today's show is a little bit different. Not the typical cigar and pairing kind of show. Once again, we are live here again at 3-in-1 Sports Bar and Grill, 2330 Proctor Valley Road. And to my right, I have my man, Mr. Rick Fernandez. Welcome in again. And to my left, the man who's going to help lay it all down, my man, Sports Dave Morales.
Sports Dave!
What's going on, baby?
Hey, thank you for having me. Going great. First live show that I'm doing, so it's all going to be a learning experience, but I'm excited to make it happen.
Well, we're going to make a lot of fun of you, so it'll be great.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great. Normally, we always put the guest in the middle, but today we decided to change it up. I went a little bit like Dave today. I went back to the ball cap and took it to the right. In case you guys don't know about Dave, what he does, you actually have your Facebook, right? And what is it under Sports Dave, or is it just your name?
Well, currently what I've actually done is I've started to accumulate a following just off of my own personal profile, and I'm getting ready to launch my an actual page within the next couple weeks now. So the idea is to create a big enough swell of support for what I'm doing, and then start getting into other platforms.
So right now you can find Dave on Dave Morales on Facebook, on Instagram. You got anything on IG?
I do. You'll find me under the Sports Dave.
The Sports Dave. All right. So that's on Instagram. So you guys, Chris, what's going on, big dog? Chris Buchanan said, "See y'all in a few."
Yes,
That's
sir.
good.
We'll see you tonight, Chris.
Chris is, I think he's coming in from Detroit.
Look, the humidor winner. He's on.
Mark Haas joined.
What's up, Mark?
So as you guys don't know, Dave always has his hat cocked to the side. So I had to cock mine a little bit to the side in honor of Dave.
I'm from New York. I don't do that. My hat's always staying straight.
That's a Yankee for you. It's a Yankee for you.
Fucking whistle.
But Dave does a lot whenever it comes to the betting world. So like I told you guys, we're going to be talking betting. We're going to be talking sports, cigars, and anything that you guys want to talk about. But first, before we dive into all the betting sides of things, right now I'm smoking the Salamanca from Mr. Alan Fonseca, which this one is the Mesmerize, one of my absolute favorites. And
great
Dave,
cigar company, and amazing guy.
Amazing guy. I really love talking to Alan every time I see him. We saw him at the show, as a matter of fact.
We did.
Yeah. And Dave is smoking The Last Cowboy by a good friend of ours, Mr. James Agopian.
Amazing cigar making company, and beyond amazing guy. Him and Coleman, awesome.
Both of them, absolutely.
And to just wrap it off to all three, our boys from Dapper Cigar.
Dapper Cigar, which is the hat I'm wearing. Mr. Ian Reeve.
Man, great cigar, great company, great guy. We're excited to have them, all three of these lines here at the shop at 3-in-1.
Hell yeah. Love to see this. Love to see good cigars in the hands. And we're just going to get right on into it, man. Let's dive right into it. What the purpose that we're here is to win some money. So
that's right.
Dave has got some lines for you guys. But before we get into the lines and how you guys can actually start winning, what I want to do is take a little bit of time and introduce Dave to you guys, man. I mean, Dave, I know we've talked some time and we have discussed what it is that you do in the past, or what you have done in the past. So let the people know exactly what your background is and how you got into the sports business.
Well, the sports business has been something I've always wanted to be in, just because I've played every sport under the sun. But more importantly, I've also been familiar with the gambling industry, just due to the fact that my dad used to send me down to Tijuana to go place his bets for him.
I love this story.
So I was a little stat geek growing up. I grew up in an apartment complex where you had to have a kid to move in. There's 900 kids living in these apartment complexes, and just playing morning, noon, and night, every sport under the sun. And I was forced to wake up very early in the morning because my dad just had that type of discipline and mentality to make sure that I was up before the crack of dawn. So
he also wanted you to get to those 10 a.m. games.
Right.
That's another thing.
most kids grew up cutting their lawn.
Little did I know. Yeah.
Gotta pick the best.
So at one point, he would make us go run in the morning, and we'd have all our chores done before anybody else. And I'm over there knocking on people's doors, 7 in the morning to see if they wanted to go out and play baseball, football, basketball, whatever sport was in season. So at some point, people's parents just got tired of me. They were telling me to go away. We're still sleeping.
Still sleep.
And so I had to find other things to do. And so what I started to do is I started picking up the morning newspaper. I started studying the sports page front to back. And after a while, I just started catching on to what my father was into, and that was gambling. And so I just started figuring out, what I liked, and I actually started kind of pushing it on the other kids in elementary school. Mm-hmm. And I remember at a very young age, my father telling me that the house always wins. And so
was he talking about the house in the betting or the house where you live?
Well, I think my dad grew up with a horseshoe up his ass, so I think it goes both ways, because I saw my dad win a lot of bets.
Right.
But no, what he was referring to is Vegas, in a matter of speaking. The house always wins. Mm-hmm. They always find a way to gear the odds to their favor and make sure that they're always winning. And at a very young age, I realized that, if you want to be on the winning side, you got to be on the side of the house.
That's right.
So that being said, I started at a very young age just trying to hustle kids for their lunch money, playing the house. I would actually look at the odds on the paper.
Would you call that hustling or being an entrepreneur?
A little bit of both, I just saw an opportunity. I figured if anybody else had the same interest as me, I could kind of coach people into doing what I was into.
Okay, all right, I like it.
But recently, I've done, every sales job under the sun. I've gone from selling shoes and suits, doing door-to-door sales. I've done car sales. In the last 7 years.
You did some other very depressing sales.
Interesting sales, you guys.
Okay,
yeah.
Interesting. What did you do, Dave? Tell everybody.
I work at a cemetery counseling family members to help them, guide them through the process of what they need to do to make all their arrangements for their loved ones.
That prepared you to be a sports person for a Padre fan too, right? You have to consult. I'm a Yankee fan. I don't know.
Wait a minute.
Are
you really clowning on the Padres right now?
No. I'm a big Padre fan.
Are you clowning on the Padre fans?
Here's why I'm a Padre fan. One of my former bartenders that just walked in is going to come and say hello right now. Jason? What do you do for the Padres?
Ground scoop.
There it is.
What's going on, Jason? Nice to meet you, man.
Up there?
How you doing? Been a while.
Yeah.
So I would never clown on the Padres. I own a sports bar in San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
I just happen to be a diehard Yankee fan.
Which sucks. We'll leave that where it is.
Coming from a White Sox fan, but
hey!
better than that other Sox. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. I can't talk about the other
I don't
Sox.
even say the name.
Yeah.
The bloody ones?
The bloody
ones. So you got an interesting past as far as to lead you into where you are right now.
Yeah.
Which I know that, like I said, we've talked off camera about before. So one of the things that we talked about also is you're not like the all around betting guy. You have your particulars that you like to stick with, right. Or I shouldn't say betting guy. Is that the right term? Is it betting or is it
handicapper?
Handicapper is probably the nicest way you can put it for some people, because some people are just habitual gamblers, and they would fashion themselves a handicapper. But there is definitely a difference between somebody that does it professionally and somebody that does it as a consistent hobby, so to speak.
And I want to talk about those habitual gamblers here in a second. So what you do is that you basically give people numbers to go off of, whether they be overs or unders, plus or minus, or do you also lay straight bets, or how do you normally do that?
Now, Dave, I'm sorry to interrupt. You need to go into the details, because I think a lot of people don't understand plus 170.
Right.
I think they understand that, win or lose.
Mm-hmm.
But
Absolutely.
It's obviously a lot more when it comes to gambling. And before you get into that, how we know each other is Dave comes in here to 3-1 when we opened up, sports guy.
Right.
I got to know Dave by what we would call the channel surfer.
Sure.
We have 24 TVs in
Right.
here.
Right.
Dave would put himself in a position to get a view of 6 to 8 TVs.
Right.
And he'd be like, hey Rick, can you put this game on this TV? Can you put this game on this TV? Can you put this game on this TV?
He's one of those guys.
So what I did is I said, hey Dave, here's the remote and here's how we use the iPad. Change your own darn channels. Because now you're not just a customer, you're a friend. And I put you to work, as all my friends know, Hully up.
Right, exactly. So explain to us the over-unders, the plus or minus, or just a straight bet. What's going on with that, man?
All right. Well, when it comes to plus or minuses and all that, it's actually a lot more difficult to explain for most people that don't understand where those lines originate and how they all start. So I'll start off with something real simple. So most people love to gamble on football.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Yeah. Okay. I'd say football is probably the most heavily gambled on sport. And when it comes to gambling on football, what lines or what odds makers will do is they basically have a room of people that are like a brain trust, so to speak. And they come up with a specific number that they think a team should be favored by. Or favored by is probably the accurate term, because if you actually said that they're predicting the outcome, that would be wrong.
Sure.
Now, let's just say, for example, we're talking about the New York Jets playing against the New England Patriots.
Okay.
No, don't
Not
do
the
that
Jets?
to me already. You got to add the word miserable when you talk about the New York Jets.
The Jets got a chance this year, I think.
Okay.
I think they got a chance.
Now, if we're basing it off of recent history, obviously the Patriots have this long history of winning over the past decade or so, and the public perception is that the Patriots are going to win that game, and they probably will. Sorry, Rick. But
The Patriots are always predicted to go 16-0. So, but nonetheless.
and that's exactly what a odds maker loves about people, is that they're playing off of public perception more than anything. Because if you're actually looking at what the spread is, like I said, it's not about what they think the final outcome is going to be. They're trying to make a number that is going to make both sides of the action fall evenly.
Okay.
Now, the odds makers start off with something called a dime line. And a dime line is basically set up to make sure that they get their interest back on any bet. If they successfully get action on both sides of the coin, they're going to make their money no matter what.
House always wins.
House always wins.
Okay.
And so, that's a simple way of understanding, how the odds start off.
Sure.
But when it comes to baseball, they don't actually have spreads. They use money lines.
Which is crazy because these numbers get a lot higher, right?
Big.
Okay.
So to give you an example of how that works, they give you a value of what a team is going to be worth when the line's open. Now, the Yankees, for example, will be playing against the Orioles, and the Yankees are going to be heavy favorites. Now, it's easy to say,
Can we add obvious into that? I mean,
hey, they got swept in the first series of the season.
Let's not
By the Orioles, by the way. So, yeah, obvious isn't quite the word that I would use for that, but I would say that most people would think so.
We watched an obvious game the other day when Chapman blew it.
we don't talk about
man.
those.
Okay. I mean, but we thought that was obvious that they were going to win at that point.
Let's just say that some hats went flying that day.
I was there for that.
And a couple of words were flying out too.
Maybe, yeah, you could say that. That's safe bet.
So the value of the Yankees in a case like that would probably start off at like minus 250, meaning
Yeah.
if you want
scary.
if you want to bet on the Yankees, you got to put $250 down to win back 100.
What?
Exactly.
So I'm losing 150.
No, I mean
you'll get your original 250.
yeah, you'll get
I get it back.
250
Okay, all right.
So
You'll
you
get
walk away
350.
with about 350 total. Yeah.
Okay, all right. See, I'm dumb at betting, you guys, so please understand. My odds are this cigar is going to be good, this cigar is going to be better. Those are the best odds I can get.
So
I like betting Leo for cigars too.
We got to
don't
do
know
that.
better.
We got to do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
All football season.
Mm-hmm.
Don't. Yeah. You know what that's about, right?
I will challenge.
Double dunk.
I will challenge the Jets. I will challenge the Giants against my Bears any day that you want.
Okay, but I get to pick your field goal kicker.
Please do. Please do. In case you guys don't know, last year my Bears lost to the freaking Eagles in the freaking first game of the playoffs.
yeah, they created a whole field goal challenge over that.
Are we going in on this or are we talking about Bears? We ain't gonna go in on my Bears today, man. We talking baseball.
Yeah, we have to get this show and put some factual information out. And it is a fact that smoking a cigar while making your bets gives you a better chance to win that bet.
I don't know if it gives you a better chance to win the bet.
You certainly feel better about it.
So you feel better about it. Yeah. I don't know if it gives you a chance, but you feel better. Now,
And you can use a celebratory cigar,
Right.
or a misery cigar.
Yeah.
We have both of those here at 3-in-1, by the way.
Which the Mesmerized does not count as a misery cigar.
No, that's for sure.
That's a celebratory cigar.
Right. The most expensive ones are the celebratory cigars.
You mean like Fuentes or something?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, the Opus X line.
The Opus X. The Opus X. Celebratory.
And we have some great football cigars coming in this season.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I saw some of those.
Uh-oh.
We have some great football cigars. They actually are football. They're phenomenal.
I think I know who those are made by.
That company that we saw out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be exciting.
Oh yeah. All right. So sorry about that. So let's get back to the 250. You win 100. All right.
Right. So the odds makers set these games up that way because they know that people are going to be hot on the Yankees, or insert whatever team that's favored to whatever day that's relative.
So let me just back up real quick, man. Because so how do they get the 250 number? How do they come up with that?
Well, like I said, they are trying to get even action both ways, and anybody that's a smart bettor tries to stay away from big numbers like that, because at the end of a year, the Yankees, even in their best season, are going to win maybe 100 games.
Okay.
And if you're consistently betting on the Yankees at minus 250, the profit margin isn't going to be very good. In fact, I believe it would be under. It would go the opposite way. So you're not going to make a lot of money betting on heavily favored teams like that. This year it just happens to be that the Yankees are a plus unit team.
Right.
And when I say plus unit, that basically relates to people that actually have a process that they incorporate. So what most educated gamblers will do is they try and keep it simple, and they only bet on single or straight bets. There's such thing as a parlay, and we'll get into that a little bit later, but the idea being that you consistently bet a certain amount on every single game. So let's just use $100 as a round figure.
Okay.
And if you were to bet $100 on the Yankees for 100 games, and let's just say that they win 60% of them,
Okay.
you're going to come out on the losing side of that.
How is that?
Because the return of investment is going to be so small that you're not going to get enough back off of that. You're going to win like, $30, $40 off of that, which over the course of 60 games, I'd have to do the math on it, but,
It's a low number.
Yeah, it's a low number,
Right.
and the losses are going to far outweigh the gains.
Right. Okay.
So the idea is to try and find the best value for every situation on any given bet.
Okay. All right.
Now, Dave, let me ask you something. I know, as Leo knows, because we talk to you constantly. But
What's up, Smitty?
let the guys know, and ladies, and whoever's listening to us today. What do you do to prepare when you give your knowledge about a particular game? And you're going to give us some games today.
Yeah, sure will. So I have a full-on spreadsheet that I put together for every single game that I'm ready to handicap. In the past, I was actually doing every single game, but that's a little too deep to go sometimes. You really got to find the best value on every single slate of games. So what I basically do is I put together a spreadsheet that incorporates the team's records. I look at the pitchers. I look at the value of the bet before I even start looking at it, and I'll go as far as looking at the weather, the umpire, who's in the starting lineups, and then I'll go into where the money's going. Now this is the most important part. You can look at the stats all you want, and that's exactly what Vegas or the odds makers want you to do. They feast off of stat geeks. And if all you're looking at is, this team's on a 3-game winning streak, this team's on a 3-game losing streak, I'm going to go with the team that's winning. And, they balance the odds that way based off of public perception. And what you want to be on is the opposite way that the public is going. So there are apps and websites out there that will actually show you where public money is going and where sharp money is going.
Okay.
Now, when I say sharp money, I'm talking about guys that actually move the lines. There are specific guys that are real players in the game that can go in and they walk into a sports book and the eye in the sky will spot right away.
Right.
And some books won't even take action with these guys. Mm-hmm. But if they are willing to take action, they take note, and they'll move the line according to what these sharp bettors do. Mm. So the idea.
So they're paying attention to the public as well.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And the idea is to, more often than not, you want to fade the public. And by fade the public, I mean bet against them.
Makes sense.
You know, like I said, the house always wins.
Right. Right.
So the idea is to follow the stats a little bit, but follow the lines even more and which way they're going. It's like a stock market. You know, that's why I use the term investing instead of gambling sometimes, because, yeah, it is a gamble, but so is
the stock market.
So it's a stock market.
Yeah.
But
once again, you guys, we're sitting here at 3-in-1 Sports Bar and Grill, 2330 Proctor Valley Road, here in Chula Vista, California. And we are sitting and talking to Sports Dave Morales. He's teaching us and showing us how to lay down the bets to make us money. And I'm sorry, Dave, go ahead and continue on that.
No problem. So the idea being that, you want to kind of go against the grain in most cases. Now, my personal process incorporates everything that I just mentioned, but I take it another step further, and I group up with other guys or girls even that have a little bit of insight on what the odds are doing or what the stats are looking like for the day.
Okay, so you kind of team up with other people to try to understand exactly how you want to let your people know how to lay their bets down.
Yeah, well,
okay.
All my viewers, that is.
Right.
So the idea being, odds makers team up to beat me.
Right.
So I need to team up to beat them.
Okay.
They've got guys that are much smarter than me.
Right.
And I'm just trying to be on the right side of things where I can find a few people that are smart enough to figure this out. I don't know everything. In fact, there's, if you go on to any online book, you're going to find so many ways that the book is trying to take your money. I mean, they've got a list of odds and different spreads and prop bets that you can do.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, I would probably say that I can understand about 20 to 30% of most things, and I don't want to delve into those other areas, because if you have an area that you're good at, stick with it and just,
perfect that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like In-N-Out Burger, They're only good.
They're not selling tacos.
Exactly. I have not seen them step outside their comfort zone, and that's a good thing. They're good at what they do.
Now Del Taco, however, Del Taco sells fries, and some other things, but everybody's got to try and dabble into the market however they see fit.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm definitely not going outside of cigars. I'm not going to talk about vapes, and I'm not going to talk about weed. I'm going to stick with the premium tobacco, do what I do best and move forward. So that's how we, is that, you think that's kind of the extent that the people need to know about the things to look for, what to look out for, anything else that you want to try to let the people know about whenever they're placing bets?
Send you a text.
Because to me, money means a lot, and if I'm going to bet something, if I'm going to bet on a team, my dad uses a very good phrase, well, he used to use a very good phrase. He says, I don't bet on any horses, I ain't running.
Explain.
If it ain't his horse, he ain't betting. Okay. If it ain't his horse, he ain't betting. And I've grown up with that. And I mean, of course, I've played some bets before here and there. Of course, I go to Vegas, I gamble, But I'm not one of those, as you brought up earlier, a habitual bettor. It's kind of like, and everybody knows I work at Excalibur Cigar Lounge, 8199 Claremont Mesa Boulevard. There's times where people come in and they're either already intoxicated, or while they're sitting down, they get intoxicated, And you have those regulars that come in and they think that it's okay to get intoxicated because, this is my home lounge, right? So they become habitual drinkers and habitual problems. Habitual bettors, you ever run into those where they become problems when they're coming to you, that they're that fiend, they're like, hey, I gotta lay down this bet, man, what should I do? You ever run into that?
Yeah, all the time. And it's one of those things. It's like smoking cigarettes for some people. They get into their own routine, and that's just what they know. They get the rush and everything. I'd say that the worst thing that could happen for most people that start getting into this game is having what's called beginner's luck. Because what happens is you get somebody that maybe they put $20 down on a 5-team parlay.
Right.
Now a 5-team parlay is going to pay back 20 to 1.
Right.
20 to 1, that's $400 you just won off of $20.
Right.
Now, most people, they see the fast, easy money and they think to themselves, oh man, if I would have just put $1,000 on this, I would have been up 40 G's right now. Is that right? Is that the right math?
40 G's.
No, 20,000 or 20 G's, whatever.
Right.
So
40,000.
So most people, when they win, they think about what they could have won instead of what they actually have in their pocket. And it's a real easy trap to fall into when you get that early luck, because you don't start to look at it as a business or an investment anymore. You just see it as fast, easy money, and it's just not. Most handicappers, good ones that is, over the course of a year, the best they can probably aim for is 60% accuracy.
Okay.
And if you're 60% accurate and you're playing good odds, you're going to come out ahead. But
and you're talking about some of the best handicappers.
Some of the best handicappers.
Okay. All right.
Now, you may see people online or wherever, however you come across people, they'll brag from here to the hills that they just went 10 straight. They won, all these in a row.
Sound like fishers. Fishermen who say, I got the biggest fish, right? That's what it sounds like to me. Okay.
And, it's easy to fall into that trap because people get real confident once they get on a roll like that. And, those same people that go on that roll also go on bad streaks as well. So,
of course, you got to hit them.
Yeah. And so that's when you start to get those people that are, kind of scratching and, they're looking for any branch along the way.
Yeah.
On the way down to, 4th Street that, they can find a way to turn it all back around and hit that 10-win streak.
Rich, so, do you feel that you, and I know like you and me, we place bets here and there. Do you feel like that you have to make that money back if you lose it?
Well, in college, I thought I was a genius. And I placed some big bets. And I did not come out ahead. The concept of the house wins
is real.
True.
It's real.
The house won.
What was the biggest bet you laid?
That's a big money. In college, I bet. The worst thing that happened to me is when I first started betting, is I won. So I came, a young-minded person, thought, I could do this all the time. We're talking in the thousands of dollar range.
Right.
For me, that's big. There's people that bet $100,000.
Yeah.
I'm a college student, poor as could be. You cash advance on your credit card. you got a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
You got a problem. And I did. I had a problem.
Right.
And I stopped gambling for a very long time. Now I dabble. I enjoy it.
Right.
I have fun with it. I don't do it for an investment. I don't do an investment. I do it for the fun, the bragging.
Right.
I enjoy. I enjoy the football pools.
Yeah.
Picking the team, choosing that score on Monday night, and having bragging rights that you won that week. I enjoy doing that with a group of friends. I enjoy the, college football. I went to Ohio State. I'm a diehard Buckeye fan. I like betting with them against other people. Their school and doing things like that, betting with cigar and so forth. But there are people out there that do betting and they have it as a form of their income. And those people that do that take it very serious and rightfully so. I think some of them get a little too emotional.
Right.
At times, but rightfully so. If I'd be mad if an investment I made and I'm looking for a return, obviously a positive. Nobody goes to an investment to lose money.
No.
You lose out. Dave, I got a question for you. College football, NFL football, what's, in your opinion, what's the best?
You know what? As far as where the action mostly goes, it's going to be in NFL, but I personally think that you're going to find more of an advantage in college football because the the odds makers are going to focus more of their attention on the games that most people are betting on, and that's the NFL. But if you really focus in and try and find your niche, so to speak, in college football, you can find little areas where they slip up and make mistakes. Because, as I mentioned before, the odds makers are going to base things off of public perception just as much as they gather all their statistical data to figure out what a spread should be. Right. And if they assume that there's going to be, some heavy money on one game, that's where they're going to focus their attention. So I personally think that there's more money to be made in college football than there is in the NFL because, it's just, there's more ways to find a way to win.
College football more than pros.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, there's like, 100 different games going on every Saturday.
Yeah.
It's impossible for them to focus the same amount of attention on every single game, whereas there's 16 games in football every week.
Okay. So basically, you guys have about 6 days to come up with all these numbers.
Yeah.
So if there's, let's just say, 40 games being played on any given Saturday, which I think that's probably a good number, about 40 games, how do you, someone like you, how do you get the time to understand, because you went through a lot of things earlier, talking about, well, I'm looking at the weather, I'm looking at the umps, I'm looking at the field, I'm looking at this. How do you take the time to be able to come up with all these numbers to give to the viewers?
You know what? That's a great question. And as of recently, I have started to team up with a lot of people online to kind of create that little brain trust, so to speak. And, more eyes on more games is going to make you a little bit more dangerous as long as you're working with the right people.
Right.
So the idea being that, you got somebody to kind of help check your blind spots. Mm-hmm. And, the more people you have to work with that specialize in different areas, the better off you're going to be.
Right.
So that would be my suggestion to anybody that's trying to get into the college football game because, what would be an ideal circumstance is that maybe you have somebody that completely studies one conference, for example. You have somebody that's studying the SEC, you got somebody studying the Pac-10, the Pac-12, you got somebody studying the Ivy League, and they just focus on that one area only. Right. So that they can find that one little area of an advantage.
All right.
Now, you don't want to bet 100 different bets. You want to focus on one particular thing and take your money and go home. Don't try and do that get back money thing.
Right.
Like you guys said earlier, if you have somebody that loses money, it's called chasing. You don't want to ever chase. Stick with your process, stick with the program.
Right.
Most people don't have a program or a system that they adhere to. And that would be the first step in anything that I would say. As far as getting into this, you want to have some sort of program or process to, kind of fall back on, because it's real easy to get emotional.
Mm-hmm.
It's real easy to get emotional.
Mm-hmm.
You see, the ball bounces one way or another, and you lose by a field goal.
We got to bring up the ball bouncing one way or another. Okay, thanks, Dave. Appreciate that.
And field goal.
Thanks, Rick.
Thumb.
Thanks from the people at Gallery too.
Hey, Dave, you've heard of Fool's Bet, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you hear the Super Bowl specifically, they bet on everything.
Yeah.
First coin. I heard they bet on what color the Gatorade is in the Gatorade bottle. The Gatorade jug that they dump on the coach.
Yeah.
What?
Well aware.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Insane, right? I mean, those are they're 100% fool's bets, right? I mean,
are you saying fool's bets or fools who just bet?
well, I don't know. That might be the same, Leo.
I mean, damn, that just sounds. I don't know.
Yeah, there is a such thing as fool's bets, and you know what? If you've done your research and you found an edge, then more power to you. I know that there's some people that only focus on prop bets that most people would consider fool's bets.
So now, explain it for the people who don't know. What the hell did you just say about a prop bet?
A prop bet is exactly what Rick just alluded to. So, you're betting on the coin toss, or you're betting on, how long the halftime show is going to last, or how long Gladys Knight's going to sing the national anthem, or,
That sounds like a fool's bet. But they're called prop bets. That's a proper name for it.
Now, here's the thing. If you were somebody that knew somebody that was helping Gladys Knight practice her national anthem, and this dude was like timing the bet.
This sounds like Martha Stewart. I'm just saying. Go ahead.
I wouldn't call it a fool's bet, but if you're just going in there willy-nilly, just throwing your bet down on a Gladys Knight staying under 3.5 minutes, then you know you're probably partaking in a fool's bet.
Wow.
Incredible.
Wow. Incredible. Jason, what's going on, man? Michael Schultz is in the house also. He said betting should only be on an amount.
On an amount. I think he's referring to unit betting.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And as I mentioned before, you know, everybody should have their unit price. So you should have a bankroll that you started a month off with. So you should say, for example, your bankroll is $1,000. That's what you can afford to lose.
Okay.
Not afford to win. You got to think about what you can afford to lose.
Though you don't want to lose.
No, of course not.
You can afford.
Yeah.
But be prepared. You are going to lose. Nobody gets out of this whole thing, you know, going, undefeated.
The house wins.
Yes.
So they don't build Vegas on the winners.
They build Vegas on the house, baby.
The losers.
The house.
People that go and spend that money and lose.
Because I can't tell you how many times I've laid down on the craps tables ready to bawl my eyes out.
Hey Dave, what is your opinion about legalizing gambling? Now, New Jersey has legalized gambling.
Yeah.
We've known that Nevada and Las Vegas has had legalized gambling. What is your opinion about legalized gambling?
Well, legalized gambling is essentially one of the big dominoes that compelled me to do what I'm doing right now. I'm all for it. I think that, you know, it's kind of dumb that it's only been Nevada all these years. There's plenty of states that are, you know, looking at a debt crisis, like California, for example, that they could definitely make some money off something like this. Of course, California will probably find a way to fuck that up, mess that up too, by the way.
You can say fuck that up.
Yeah, you can say
It's
fuck
okay.
that up.
Okay.
This is you know, adult conversation.
Right.
We're all right with that.
I don't think any kids are watching this.
So, you know, I own a sports bar in California. So to me, I really want to legalize gambling.
Right.
And let's face it, the lotto is legalized gambling, right? State runs it.
Yeah.
It's gambling.
It's gambling.
Hotspot, Keno.
Yeah.
I feel that in within the states, if they set the rules, govern it, and have a control over it, that you're right. They're going to get themselves the vig, right? They're going to get a piece of every bet, win or lose.
Exactly.
Look, I think that actually still happens in every state, right?
It absolutely does.
So, I mean, it's just not considered legalized gambling, you know? And there's always that loophole within the loophole that allows something to happen to me.
Well, we know, we see it, right? We
Yeah.
see people on their phones,
Right.
and they're making bets, halftime bets. They're making all
No,
kinds
I'm
of
not
bets.
talking about just on the phone. I'm talking about hotels here in California. You know what I mean? I know some hotels that do this.
Unbelievable.
You know, so it's not that it's not legal. It's just that, they haven't caught up with us yet. You know? I mean, that's just the honest to God truth. You know, it's just like the ABC. All right? The ABC says, hey, you know, you can't have a indoor smoking. However, you create an indoor smoking environment, but you aerate it enough, and they say, well, this is okay. It's not necessarily indoor because it's outdoor.
Yeah, there's no clarification.
There's no clarification, exactly, Rick. That's what I was getting at.
But what I think they do in that case, in any scenario like that, whether it be the cigars or gambling, is they ignore it.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
They let it be instead of getting a clear cut, or they just go with the simplest thing and say, okay, this is the way it is.
Right.
But they don't verify, they don't clarify it and make it specific.
I think they know if they clarified legalized gambling, a lot of things will probably shut down. That's what I think.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, because if you really look at it, it's just like we were talking about with cigars. Of course, everybody knows I know cigars. So if you look at gambling in the way that you can look at cigars, is that, okay, if I put down everything, if the speed limit is 55, if you do 56, you're over, right? You get a ticket, right?
You're breaking the law.
You're breaking the law. So if I say, look, these are the rules of gambling, this is all that you can do, and people still have that mentality, right, of what we used to do, there's eventually going to be some things that are going to get shut down. People are going to go to jail. Now we got people in jail for placing bets. That's stupid to have people in jail. You know, I think it just goes into a whole fold. So I think that it's just that, okay, we know that it's legal in these states. So if you do want to place those bets, let's do it there. But let's keep it quiet on the rest of the areas so that, you know, we still get that money. Because everything still goes through Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Regardless of where it comes from.
Well,
no, actually, there's a lot of offshore accounts that are going. I mean, there's a lot of people that are trying to get ahead of this curve right now because sports gambling, a big domino fell last year in New Jersey for them to legalize sports betting. And there's 31 other states that are basically lining up to try and get into the action as well. Mm-hmm. And in the meantime, there's a lot of people that are forming up to create their own book, and they're setting their books up offshore, like in Costa Rica, where everything kind of is hush hush, and you can get away with something like that.
Okay.
And so those same people are gearing up and getting ready for a time when it becomes legal in their state, and they can either capitalize there or they can just keep doing what they're doing in the offshore accounts.
So Mike Schultz, my man, by the way, what's up, Kevin? Mike Schultz says, talk to the owner of Striders for the off-track betting and see how they do it. And Striders is, I didn't want to throw any names now, but Striders is one of the places that I was talking about that they actually do this at. Nicholas, what's going on, my man? Mike also says, depending on the district and the town council, 3-1 is a Chula Vista, or is in Chula Vista, County of San Diego. Striders is the only one that I know of, but that's horses.
No, they have a place in here in Bonita.
Right.
Yeah, that also does it.
Right. Yeah, it used to be Salocitas, but
I think it's still the name Salocitas.
Is it? Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's always interested me. But yeah, like I said, I started off going down to Tijuana, and then it's just kind of inconvenient to do that.
I was gonna allude to something before you actually said that, which I'm glad you brought that up, because you mentioned earlier that you were a kid going down placing bets for your dad.
Yeah.
So with cigars, there's a legal age limit of 21 to buy cigar, 18 unless you're in the military. Do you think that there should be a legal age to bet?
Yes, I do think that.
What do you think that age should be and why?
Well, 18. I mean, if you're capable of being sent off to war at the age of 18, I think you should be able to do.
There it is.
Well, we still can't drink at 18 and we go to war, but okay, I feel you though.
That's another subject.
I went in the military.
I mean, but why 18 though? Why do you think 18 is an opportune number?
You know what? Honestly, it's probably too young for somebody to actually get into. But I'm going to play devil's advocate here because
remember you were 10.
I was 13.
13.
Yeah, and they're willing to take a kid's money if he's got a couple $1,000s on him, and
right.
He's walking in placing some bets. Trust me, it's Tijuana. They look the other way at a lot of things.
Let's see a 13-year-old go down to Tijuana today and place a couple $1,000.
Good luck.
Good luck.
They ain't coming back, huh? So 18 is your number. Why do you say 18 though? I mean, you think that's a good enough number for the mind to understand how to place the bets?
No, I mean, at 18, most kids are filled with hormones and they're going to be thinking very emotionally. Mm-hmm. So I wouldn't recommend kids at 18 getting into this. But if you're going to make it legal to smoke cigarettes and go to war at that age, then why not gambling as well?
Well, cigarettes are 21 now.
Thank you, brother. Thank you for that support.
But if you're active military
right.
ID, you can buy
right.
cigars.
Yeah.
That's it. My old.
So
you just made it.
We are. Right now, I am smoking the Mesmerized by Mr. Alan Fonseca, Salamanca Cigars. Rick, you are smoking the Borracho from Dapper Cigars.
From Dapper Cigars.
And Dave is smoking the Last Cowboy, the natural from Sinistro Cigars as well. And I'm actually partaking in a ammunition line, the Cabernet. Dave, what are you drinking? 394 is my guess?
Oh yeah, I keep it loyal to the soil. I like to go with the Old Man 20 Points beer.
And Rick decided to be the odd man out, and he's gonna drink some Coca-Cola.
Rick has to work today because we got a big event tonight here at 3-1.
What's going on at 3-1 tonight, Rick?
Yeah. Pacquiao Thurman fight.
Woohoo!
That's going to be real fun, and get here early. It's going to be a full house. There is a $5 cover to get in tonight.
$5, that's it?
That's it, $5.
And I realize that you're pandering to the Filipino crowd with the menu that
We have a special menu this evening with 3 great Filipino dishes that we have an amazing crew in the kitchen, and they are Filipino, so they're cooking it right, that's for sure.
I was laughing at another comment. Roy said that I play the odds when I drive 75 miles an hour in California. That's hilarious. So let's get into it, Dave. You have brought some bets for us, or some handicaps for us. Let's talk to the people. Let's see what you got, man. What do you got for us today?
All right, well, just staying on the topic of the fight real quick.
Okay.
I know that you guys wanted to talk about this a little bit. And I've actually watched a lot of boxing in my lifetime. My dad used to take us to a lot of the big pay-per-view fights. I've seen De La Hoya fight. I've seen Eric Morales fights. I've seen Julio Cesar Chavez fight.
I feel something coming here. I feel something coming.
Yeah.
I'm anxious right now.
And, I've kind of steered away from the fight game recently. It's not my forte, so to speak. But when I did look at the numbers on it, and that's probably the most important part.
What's the odds on the fight? Here we go.
Now the odds opened up. Now this is
He doesn't put the handicaps out on fights, but he's gonna do it for us today.
Yeah.
All
I'm
right.
gonna give it a shot.
Yes.
No pressure.
No. I'm not betting heavy. I don't recommend anybody, tell me on this. Just pay attention. So, what I found on the odds that opened up, the odds actually opened up in a lot of books with Keith Thurman being the favorite.
Yes.
Now,
I've heard that.
I don't know Keith Thurman, between my asshole and my elbow.
Right.
But what I do know is that
He's a black guy.
what I do know is that odds makers set up their numbers based off of who they think is going to win the fight and public perception.
Okay.
And so, with that said, if he was walking in as the favorite, then obviously they made him a favorite for a reason.
Okay.
That all with the understanding that they know that people are going to be on the Pacquiao side of things.
Right.
And that's exactly what's happened. A lot of money has been pushed forward
On
towards
Pacquiao.
Yeah. So
the house said we're gonna go the opposite. Oh. I like how this is playing. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So with that said,
Should have laid my damn money down.
I could have talked to you yesterday.
actually it's better to wait until a little bit before the fight, because then you get to really see where the strong money's going or not. So with that said, a lot of the money has pushed towards the Pacquiao side, and it's creating a lot of value for somebody to take Thurman. Now, I've seen Pacquiao's last few fights. His last fight was actually pretty good. I believe it was against Adrian Broner.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he came out and surprised people. I don't think a lot of people were expecting Pacquiao to win, but he kind of went back to his style of staying busy and landing the more punches.
Right.
So in some cases, it'll depend on the judges watching the fight, because if you watch a fight, sometimes just the activity wins you points.
Okay.
It doesn't necessarily mean that you're landing the heavier shots. Sometimes you're just scoring points.
Right.
And
Points win.
Yeah. I believe that what's going to happen is, I think Manny Pacquiao is going to win the early part of the fight. He's going to be the more active fighter.
Okay.
And the younger, stronger guy is going to start putting it on later on as the fight goes on.
So I told some guys that's exactly what I told some guys last night. Thurman he's a smart fighter. He knows that Pacquiao is older. He knows that his game is going to come out in the beginning, because he cannot last as long because he's older.
Right.
So Thurman's going to sit back. He's going to take this, and then he's going to end up winning. Now I said, I don't know what the line says, but I said down in 9. So
Well, Marvin just said here,
Without a knockout, Pacquiao wins.
without a knockout, Pacquiao wins. Now, is that because of his popularity, and who he is?
Popularity
doesn't mean a damn thing if it don't come down to the points and the punches.
But ain't no judge going to score against him after the 7th round if it's not a knockout. Come on, get real.
So
Get real.
I think Thurman wins in a decision.
Oh, there it is.
Get real.
A decision.
Yeah, I think he's
So
going
that comes down to points.
It does.
Yeah.
That comes down to
What I just
punches.
talked about.
Yeah. That's exactly what I talked about. I mean, and I'm contradicting myself a little bit, but I just feel that with the money siding with Pacquiao and with some of the future steps that look like are in place for Thurman, I think this might be something where this is a stepping point or a stepping stone for Thurman to make his name, because the kid's with 29-0 with 22 knockouts.
Yep.
You know, he hasn't really made a name for himself. I've never even seen him fight.
If he win this one, he's gonna make a name for himself.
Again, don't tell me if you're really thinking about putting a lot of money on this. What I'll probably do is I'll probably take a small bet with Thurman for it to last all 12 rounds. And it's probably an unpopular play, but that's the way I'm going, because I feel like that's going to be opposing the public money. Yeah.
Do you think also that there's a large amount of people betting on Pacquiao because he's been that champion
that staple, yeah,
for so long, and it's just like I'm taking him.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that plenty of people have made a lot of money on Pacquiao in the past. So, you know, you just go with, you know, what your memory tells you. Hey, it's worked before, let's do it again.
Right.
But, you know, Pacquiao's already 40 years old. He's been fighting for 24 years. The average job,
you don't stay on 24
is
years.
4 years long.
Right.
This dude's been taking punches to the face for 24 years.
It got him a seat on the Senate.
Yeah, it did.
That's true.
In the Philippines.
Oh, yeah. Maybe we should punch some of our senators in the face for 24 years.
We couldn't do it for 24 years. We can do it for 24 seconds. Secret Service be all over our ass. So, what else you got, brother? So, like I said, we know that you're a true baseball guy. Yeah, you're also from San Diego.
Born and raised, yeah.
So you are a San Diego native. You are a San Diego son. You are a San Diego guy through and through. So, did you make a call for the Padre game today?
No.
Okay, so we're going to leave that one out. So,
Yeah.
what do you got for us? Because right now, we're looking at the Padres down by 1 in the top of the 7th. In Chicago, by the way, against the Cubs.
Wait a minute,
We're not now.
Warning track power.
WTP, baby. As my dad would say, one more biscuit. What do you got for us, Dave? What do you got?
So I decided to pander to you, my friend, and go with a game that I think is gonna, strike dear to your heart, or strike close to the heart. So I'm actually
the White Sox.
Yes, we're gonna talk the White Sox today.
Yes, the White Sox.
Ooh. All right. So before I get into this, I have to mention that part of what I do is, as I mentioned, I get together with kind of a brain trust of my own.
Yep.
And my real aim for everything that I do is to promote other handicappers. I have no intention of actually being rich off of gambling. I want other people to, excel from whatever popularity that I can kind of help shine a light or deflect light onto them with.
Okay.
So I have a few friends that actually put their play in on this game as well.
Good. I got some fans.
Friday night.
Exactly, you do actually, because
That would be
a couple of my friends are feeling the White Sox today.
Yes.
White Sox going in to play against Tampa Bay, and the Rays have actually been slumping a little bit. But where I think that the real advantage is going to be is on the total. Now, the total is set at 8. It actually started off at 8.5, I believe, and went down to 8. So that basically means that there's a lot of people betting on the under.
Okay.
However, where I see the biggest advantage is in this pitching matchup being Lucas Giolito, who's been one of the more profitable pitchers throughout the season.
Absolutely.
He's having a breakout year. I think he came up as a highly touted prospect, and a lot of people had some high expectations for him. And he didn't really start off with a bang, but this year I think he changed a few things in his mechanics, and it's really made the difference.
Yep.
His last few games have not showed out really well, but he does have a solid history versus the Rays.
Yeah.
So with that said, you've got the Chicago White Sox starting Lucas Giolito, and the Tampa Bay Rays are going to be putting up a bullpen day. They kind of invented this, and they're really good at it. They got Ryan Yarbrough actually starting today, and my gut feeling and all the numbers would actually suggest to say that this game is going to stay under the total in the first 5 innings. I don't want to mess with the second half of this game because the White Sox bullpen is nothing to brag about.
It sure in the hell is not.
Right. So, the White Sox, they've got a bright future based off of their pitching staff. They've got, Giolito, they got Dylan Cease, who just got brought up. Kopech is also another guy to watch out for. I think he's going through Tommy John surgery or recovering from it. So it's going to be a little time for them to actually, hit their stride. But I think that with the pitching matchup that we had today with Giolito and the Tampa Bay Devil Rays bullpen, I think the total's going to stay under the 5 today.
Under 5.
But I have a couple other opinions on it. My buddy Kyle Williams and Jim Loftus both like the White Sox on the whole game. And there is some good value if you're actually looking to get some plus money on that, because I think they're at plus 130 or plus 135 right now.
So what I need to put down, Dave?
Something like this, you could do what's called a correlated parlay, where if you wanted to bet on the first 5 innings, you could go with the White Sox to be winning at the first 5, and you could take the under, or you could just straight bet it, which is what I recommend, and I would say stay under that total of 4.5 or 5. Whatever.
I recommend anybody who wants to bet on the White Sox, you just take the straight fucking bet. I'm sorry, because we never know what's gonna happen. I'm sorry. Right? I mean, we're doing okay, but right now I really don't know. I really don't know.
Well, I want the White Sox to win today also. For my dear friend Leo here, because I want him to be happy. And also because they're in the AL East for the Yankees and they're Philadelphia Tampa Bay Rays. I'm happy too.
Of course, that's right. But you also, you should be happy too for this win, because Miss Angela Yu was on. She said, "It's Rick. Hi, Rick. You are the man."
It was awesome. We got a lot of my friends on there. My cousin Denise, she's in Spain right now with her family. Hi, Denise.
On the pack,
good buddy of mine, Manny. My buddy Andy checked in earlier. Hello, Andy.
To anybody that's listening,
We got Ryan. Ryan, what's up, Ryan?
Dale's on there.
If Pacquiao loses, I give Monte Cristo.
My buddy Nick graduated high school with him. What's up, Nick? Mark.
They pay 100 towards a veteran's bonus.
Jason was in here early. We said hello to him.
That's a lot to explain right now. You'd have to actually explain it.
What else you got for us? What else you got?
I just made one. I just made a thing. A Monte Cristo.
Hanging with Barrels and Leafs has hecklers, and I don't know what the hell I did to gather hecklers. I'm not a comedian, as you guys know. I'm not on any kind of stage, but I've managed to gather some hecklers. And
are we going to listen?
They show up all the time.
Are we going to listen
all
to
the time?
A Monte Cristo 80th anniversary. I take Pacquiao. To anybody that wants to take the other guy, if they lose, it's $100 donations to the Veteran Village in San Diego. If I lose, they get a Monte Cristo 80th anniversary.
There it is.
But if they lose, they donate $100 to the Veterans Village in San Diego.
Mr. Marvin Winters, put it out there.
I'm putting it out there.
Well, there's a bet, you guys. If you guys heard that, basically what one of the fans are saying is that they're willing to put up for the Pacquiao Thurman fight. He's going to put up a Monte Cristo 80th anniversary cigar. He's taking Pacquiao. If Thurman wins, well, I'm sorry, let me get to the first part. If you want to bet against him by taking Thurman, Pacquiao wins, you give him $100.
No, they give.
You're gonna get they're gonna donate $100
to the Veterans Village of San Diego.
To the Veteran Village of San Diego, and if they win, they're gonna get your Monte Cristo 80th anniversary cigar.
That's right. Martin Winters.
What?
There it is. There's a bet. Anybody want to take that? You guys direct message me. Let me know, and I will get you in contact with Marvin, and you guys can take it from there. I'm not the betting man. This is not a betting site. This is Hanging with Barrels and Leafs. We talk cigars and parents.
Yes.
So, Dave, what's the next game that we got?
All right, so the next game I want to discuss is actually, I would call it something that is really good insight to also understand something about gambling, and a term that gets thrown around sometimes is reverse line movement.
Yes.
Now, line movement speaks to the idea that a lot of people are betting on one team, and the line starts to adjust according to that, because as mentioned before, they want to have equal action on both sides.
Okay.
So what the odds makers will do is, if they are
Okay.
Seeing a lot of money coming in on one side. Let's just say it started off at minus 150, and people are betting on that minus 150. It'll start to raise to minus 155, minus 160, and it takes a certain amount of money to push odds that way. What reverse line movement actually suggests is it's almost like a bait. The odds makers are actually pushing lines one way to encourage action the other way. Because the reality is the money's actually going the opposite way. It's reverse line movement.
Right.
So today I saw a healthy amount of reverse line movement on the Cincinnati and the St. Louis game today.
Okay.
Now, the reverse line movement is actually happening on the total. Now, the line opened up at 9 and it's gone up to 9.5. Despite the fact that about 90% or more of the money is actually going on the under.
Cincinnati.
No, the total is actually.
Oh, okay,
so the combined total of these two teams is expected to be, or not expected, but they set it at 9 and it went up to 9.5.
Okay.
Now, if all the money's going to the under, it would stand to reason that they would bring the line down to 8.5. But instead, they brought it up to 9.5, kind of trying to fool the public into thinking that everybody's betting on the over.
Oh.
So they've actually moved this line in the favor of people that are actually betting the under, trying to get people to continue to bet on the over.
Right.
So
the house wins.
So a lot of the time, so what I would suggest doing
See you, brother.
is
Nice to meet you. Yes, sir.
actually going with where the sharp money's going and take the under on that Cincinnati Reds game. I mean, public perception and people's short memory are what they're playing on. The last two games, they've scored like 3 touchdowns each game. I think yesterday it was like 17-10, and the day before that, I want to say that they scored like 24 runs.
Jeez.
Yeah. So everybody sees, what happened the last 2 days, and now, everybody thinks, okay, well, now it's got to be a ton of runs.
Right.
And people are smart. They're actually betting on the under, and yet they keep moving that line the other way.
That's smart.
So
That's smart.
that would be my best play today is to take the under on that game. You got a couple of really good pitchers going on the mound. You got Luis Castillo, who is the starter for the Reds. He's essentially their ace. And
There's a lot of bat swinging, too.
yeah,
A lot of bat swinging. Get those kind of runs.
yeah, totally. And neither team is going to be compared to the Murderers Row anytime soon. Their lineups.
Who's Murderers Row?
That's the 1920s Yankees team.
Yankees.
Yes. So, you have a couple of
1926, right?
You know what?
1926?
You're good if you remember that exactly. I honestly don't remember. I just remember being.
I'm a baseball guy. I think it was 26, but we're talking what? Almost 100 years ago. So
Did
that
you say
doesn't count.
27 world championships? I didn't hear you.
No, I said 1926.
Oh, I thought he was talking about 27 world championships.
No, not worried about that.
7.
Yeah. The other play that I would consider on that is maybe taking the Reds. They have been swinging the bats pretty well, and the Cardinals just don't seem to perform well on the road. They've got a sub 500 record on the road. It's not like they're absolutely horrible, but they just don't always perform well going away. So that would definitely be a way to roll on that game. I like the under. I have a slight lean towards the Reds, but that's what I would do.
Okay. All right. What else we got?
You know what? Let me look at the slate of what I did my homework on. The Oakland Athletics playing against the Minnesota Twins.
There it is.
The Minnesota Twins have been a gambler's team this year. They've been very profitable. They, especially in the first half of the season, they were easily the most profitable team. At one point, I think they got as high as 18 plus units, which basically means that if you'd have been betting on the Twins all year long up to that point, you'd have been up, if your unit size is $100, you'd have been up about $1,800 just blindly betting on the Twins.
Right.
They've kind of regressed a little bit, which was to be expected. But I think that the play is actually going to be best suited to go with the under again.
Okay.
And personally, I don't like taking unders. And those of you who watch my video a lot, they've heard me say it several times. betting the under is one of the most stressful things because it seems like everything just gets magnified. A guy gets a walk, an error happens,
Right.
and a guy comes up and hits a 3-run shot, and all of a sudden you're a couple runs away from losing your bet. That's why I always recommend just putting your bet on an under and not watching the game because you'll get a few extra gray hairs just doing it. I have a few friends, or actually a couple friends that actually like that play. My buddy Kyle Williams, Jesse Wansbro, both like the under. Kyle Williams likes it both on the first 5 and the whole game. I'm going to side with the first 5 preferably. Minnesota, I think, is getting the majority of the action go their way. And I have a hard time seeing the Twins lose this game with Jose Barrios on the mound. I mean, the kid's lights out when he can be, when he's on his game.
Yeah.
And I just think that, today's going to be another day for them to take.
All right. Anything else you got for us? Any other ones?
You know what? I have a slight lean on one other game, and it was on the Detroit and Toronto game.
Okay.
It looks like the betting public is going with the over. And again, I'm going to go back to a total and tell you that 92% of the money from the sharp side is going on the under.
Ooh, a lot of unders today.
Yeah, a lot of unders. I hate taking unders. But you know what? It was funny because during the All-Star break, Justin Verlander came out and started talking about his theory that these balls are juiced.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And
A lot of home runs hit in May, right? Major League record?
oh yeah.
Is it because his got hit out too?
You know what? It's funny you say that. I think he leads the league in home runs. So it's always funny when it's that guy that's actually bringing it up the topic. But
balls are juice.
What team has hit the most home runs?
I want to say it was the Twins.
The
And
Twins.
I think it's not even close either.
Yeah, the White Sox, nor the Yankees.
No, I
even
know it was
compare.
the Yankees. No, I know it wasn't them, but it's the Twins.
Yeah, the Twins have a very dangerous lineup. They actually have a very good combination of righty-lefty power. They've got infielders that are hitting home runs, or outfielders that are hitting them out. So, it's hard to face a team that's got a bunch of switch hitters and both guys at the plate. You'll start wearing your bullpen out real quick if you're only playing the matchups because if you get a righty versus a lefty, then the lefty's going to have the advantage and vice versa from the pitching standpoint versus the hitter. So I think that they pose a lot of problems. Unfortunately, I think that their pitching staff is overperformed. I think that in many cases that their hitters can kind of save them. You can go the first 4 or 5 innings shutting down the Twins. But eventually, you're going to have that guy that comes up and smacks one out of the park, and that's where they stay dangerous. And some of these pitchers are benefiting from that.
All right. So, Leo, not that we like to put the guests on the spot, but
I do.
let's have some fun.
Let's have some fun.
What do you think?
Let's do
Sports
it.
Day.
I'm ready. Because I was ready to put him on the spot as well.
You ready?
Let's do it.
Sports Day.
This is unrehearsed, guys. So
Who is going to win the Super Bowl?
jeez.
49ers.
Here we go.
49ers. Where did that come from?
Here we go.
49ers and Green Bay, baby.
Oh, there's another vote for the 49ers. That influence
49ers
mind?
and Green
Wait a
Bay.
minute, wait. Some people don't know football.
Green Bay,
The
49ers.
49ers and Green Bay cannot be in the Super Bowl together.
Don't leave Marvin alone.
Okay, all right.
I'm just saying.
So,
We beat the
Come on,
Chiefs.
Dave. Who's winning the Super Bowl?
I just told you.
Man, you know what? I lost my fandom to the Chargers a couple of years back. So it's made it easier for me to be impartial about these kind of things. And I've started to adopt a little bit of love for the Kansas City Chiefs.
whoa.
I love Pat Mahomes. I think the world of the guy. I don't necessarily think that they're gonna win the Super Bowl. I think that they're gonna win their division. Ultimately, I think that the teams that have the biggest advantage are the teams that play in the weakest divisions. So it's
So, the Patriots.
exactly. The Patriots are.
There goes my Jets again.
How do you explain them dominating in the Super Bowls?
Because they've been able to go through a whole season playing a bunch of scrubs.
Oh!
And then they they get there to the playoffs all fresh, and they've been there 100 times before, and the moment doesn't get too big for them. So I'd like to, not say the Patriots, but if I had to put my money on something, you're going to put a gun to my head, I'd probably have to say the Patriots. I mean, geez, but I'm not going to put any money on that. Trust me. I'm going to let the season unfold a little bit, and then I'll give you guys my.
Well, we
my
definitely
real
So Dale Warfield, he said the Falcons out of the NFC and the Ravens out of the AFC.
Ooh, I can see that.
I can too.
I can too. Yeah,
I don't know. Dale, because I think my Bears are gonna be pretty damn tough this year. They're gonna outlast the Packers.
Got a heck of a defense.
They're gonna outlast the Lions. They're gonna outlast the Vikings.
Rick,
who else is left?
On the Chicago Bears with me.
Oh, see that.
You and I right now, Chicago Bears take the best record in the NFC
For
Central.
For two sticks.
You and me, 2 sticks. Bears win the NFC Central.
Man.
Done. I don't want to hear anymore.
Wow.
You should
This is over.
You should just pay me now.
This is over.
You should pay me
This
now.
is a great
How many
bet.
sticks did I take from you last
Pay me
season?
now.
How many sticks last season?
1.
What was it? 6?
This is going to be a great bet, Leo. I cannot believe it. You two guys, a pack of Swisher Sweets, because there's 2 cigars in there. That's going to be a great bet. Hey, Dave. You picked the NFL. You said the Patriots because we put a gun to your head. It's on video. We'll remind you this at the Super Bowl.
We'll bring this back up.
But
I hope you
I
got
want to know who's
Go.
going to take the NCAA.
Oh, no.
Who's going to win the national championship in football?
Clemson
Clemson again.
for the repeat.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Again, going back to the same ideology
Concept
that
of the Patriots.
you play in a weaker conference, and you're going to benefit from that. Now, I'm not saying that the ACC is weak, but SEC is tougher.
I'll start laughing at a comment. Go ahead.
So I would probably have to lean with the Clemson Tigers. They come back with
My boy Frank.
I'm sorry. Frank said no way on the Patriots. Rick, don't forget where you're from, brother. New York.
Miserable Jets.
Clemson.
Yeah, Clemson. I think that they bring back a deep roster, and they also got I forget his name, Sunshine, the quarterback.
The surfer dude.
Yeah.
That
Was
kid.
it
Tillman?
No,
I forgot his name.
Kid's a true sophomore.
Well, not this year. He's a junior, right?
No.
Is he sophomore this
He's a
year?
true freshman
He was a
last
true
year.
freshman.
Okay,
Yeah, I was
all
going
right.
to say he was a true freshman last year.
All right.
And he showed out strong, man. I mean, and he's only going to get better from what I can see. He's got all the intangibles. That's who I'd probably ride with.
Call me a homer because I went to Ohio State. I'm a Buckeye true and
You
true.
guys just lost the best
I
coach
will
in the
take
freaking
the
NCAA.
Buckeyes every year because they're going to have the talent. They did lose the amazing Urban Meyer coach,
Golly.
but Day is right in line. He's young and he is good, and he's going to get that team going.
I hope so.
And there's a local young man, Chris Olave, from San Diego, went to Mission Hills, who's a wide receiver with the Buckeyes. Keep his name in mind, watch him this season. San Diego kid, he's phenomenal. He had an outstanding breakout freshman year, and he's going to be an All-American this year. And we're going to talk about him on Sunday in a couple of years for sure.
Probably this season.
This
This may be the last time.
No,
huh?
he's a true sophomore. So
True sophomore. Okay, got it one more. Okay.
Yeah, when it comes to college football specifically, I feel that the coaches make a huge difference. And the loss of Urban Meyer, it's a wait and see thing for me. I couldn't jump on the Buckeyes just, blindly like that. I mean, I understand that you went to, Ohio State, but, it's really tough to just blindly go with the team that's basically going to be in a rebuilding phase, after, Urban Meyer left. So.
That's all right, dude. Your beer just went up in price, but don't worry about it.
So I gotta ask, man. I mean, it's just that it's the time of season, it's the time of year. I gotta know what your pick is for the World Series, brother.
Ooh, we know he's picking the.
The White Sox are out. The White Sox are out. I'm not even worried about that.
Yeah.
The Yankees?
Come on now, it's their year.
Gerard, what's going on, man? Good to see you, brother.
Listen, I think this is gonna show you my level of commitment to my craft.
That's what I want to hear, Dave. You preach, boy.
Because, like I said, I'm loyal to the soil through and through. I love my Padres. But damn it, I think the Dodgers are gonna win this.
Oh, that hurt. That hurt, Dave.
Yeah, it hurt me to say it.
Wow, that
It hurt me to say it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I think the Dodgers they're gonna finally get over that hump.
The Dodgers win the World Series.
I gotta agree. The Brooklyn
do
Dodgers look real good. I mean, nature's vacationing in LA.
Right.
But the Brooklyn Dodgers look real good. Chris, what do you think? Brooklyn Dodgers?
Always.
There you go.
Always.
Chris is sitting back there with a Brooklyn Dodger hat on, so. Wow, that hurts, man.
Yeah, I still feel my heart is
Hey,
like
all the
it
other
went
day,
down a couple.
Kershaw pitched
And
5 innings and then get him out.
And I'm not even from the California in whole, but just to hear the Dodgers come out, oh, wow.
Well, owning a sports bar, as long as it goes to Game 7 and it's against the Yankees,
It's all good.
I'm fine.
I can
It's all
totally
good.
see that happening too.
I think it should go all 7 against the Yankees.
Yeah, that would be a lot of fun to watch. I hope it doesn't turn out that way.
NBC will make some money.
Oh yeah.
Jeez.
All right, guys. Leo, let me know who takes that bet.
Nobody wants that bet. That's a silly bet.
Hey,
The best bet is the Bears against the Packers.
See you, Marvin.
son, don't worry about it. We understand about the politics of the Bears and the side that they swing on and all that shit. Don't worry.
Oh, I got a question for you. Who's your coach? Oh, you don't know. Oh, never mind.
We don't need a coach to beat you guys. Did we played with a half a fucking leg and beat you motherfuckers. What else needs to be
And
said?
you still didn't make the playoffs with one of the best quarterbacks
Have
in the
a
league.
good night.
Good
See you
night.
later.
Good night, Packers. See you.
Now
It's
for
time to go.
And now for work my phone.
Well, Dave, that's all you got for us, man.
Yeah, that's what I got for the day. That's what I prepared for.
So you guys lay your money down with Sports Dave, man, and he's put the bets out there. It's all about fun here on Hangin with Barrels and Leafs, man. We're always trying to bring something new to you guys, something different. This one was a little bit off topic, but hopefully you guys got something out of this. It was totally a ton of fun for me. Once again, we're hanging down at 3-in-1 Sports Bar and Grill, 2330 Proctor Valley Road, Chula Vista, California. Hanging with my man, Mr. Rick Fernandez, owner, and Sports Dave Morales. You guys jump on this page as soon as you can, man. Get in with this guy. He's laying it down for you guys to make some money, man. And of course, I'm your man, Leo Brown, hanging with Barrels and Leafs. And today we were smoking the Mesmerized by Alan Fonseca from Salamanca Cigars. Rick was smoking the El Borracho from Dapper Cigars. And Dave was smoking the Last Cowboy Natural from Sinistro Cigars. Drinking the Ammunition Cabernet Sauvignon. Dave was drinking the L. Smith 394. And Rick was just the Outcast. So, you guys, thank you guys for tuning in. It's been a ton of fun. Any questions you guys got for me, let me know. Any questions for Sports Days, any bets you want to lay down, get on his page, Dave Morales. And you can find him on Instagram.
Actually,
Sports Dave?
yeah, look up the Sports Dave, and you'll also find me on Twitter. And I'm really new to the social media game, so I'm building up my following as we speak. But I'll soon have a page launched really soon.
Hopefully you get a bunch of cigar guys.
Yeah, right?
Oh, heck yeah.
Oh
Heck
yeah, I'm sure I will.
Parting words?
If you are interested in becoming a handicapper, you think you can pick winners, please hit me up. I'd love to hear from you. I am still building my team.
Parting words?
That's smart. Don't bet over your limits. Come down to 3-in-1 tonight. It's going to be a great fight. Love to see everybody. And as always, Leo, it's great, man. I love doing this show. It's having a lot of fun.
Thank you, sir.
All right, buddy.
My last parting words, man, for you guys is, look, my dad always told me, don't bet on no horses you ain't running. If you're not a gambler, don't gamble. If you just want to have some fun, have some fun. Other than that, save your money, pay your mortgage, pay your car note, enjoy your life, enjoy your family.
That's it.
Love you guys. Appreciate you always. And forever, keep pairing them up, man.